Hello, beautiful people.
Hello. I was going to say the same.
Where are you?
I'll join in. Hello, beautiful people.
Yeah.
Surrounded by beautiful people.
Yes. Come on.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We have the amazing Tamu Thomas from Live 360 here with us today. And
Just got to do it with the Londoners.
Gun fingers in the air.
Yes.
you today, Tamu. Yeah, it's honestly a pleasure and honor to have you here.
It is so delightful to be here. And may I just say, but you guys are so damn beautiful.
Oh my gosh, come on. Mirrors.
Mirrors, but just 1 minute. Let's just at one time for Layla and Amma, even more beautiful than the flora and fauna they have in the background there. Every time I see you guys' pictures, I'm like, damn, God is good.
All the time.
All the time.
All the time, God is good, man.
Amen. Hallelujah.
Love
Tamu,
you.
I'd love you to introduce yourself to the people, then let them know what you do, what you're about, and yeah, share your wisdom.
Oh gosh, whenever people ask me this question, I'm like, well, what do I do? What am I about? I'm about joy, and it might not seem like it if you engage with my content on social media, because people tell me it is as comforting as it is confronting, but we need to confront the conditioning, the programming, the oppression, the suppression, and all of that stuff so we can get to the joy. People try to bypass that stuff and try to go straight to the joy, not realizing that when the joy is tethered to all that real heaviness, the joy can't really be experienced. So I see my role, I'm a coach, that's what people know me for in this space, but I see my role firstly as a storyteller, then as an educator, and then as a coach, because we need to tell the story of what it is to be humans as we are right now and what's led to us being where we are right now. Then we can get on to unlearning so that we can relearn. Then we can be coached so that we can grow into, we often talk about growth being hard. Look at those plants behind you. Growth isn't hard. Our body knows exactly how to grow, but our psychology thwarts our growth because we're full of the conditioning and there's the genuine fear. But I see my role as storytelling, as educating, as coaching, so that we learn how to look after ourselves from our nervous system out, because everything rests on our nervous system, so that we can liberate ourselves from the tyranny of toxic productivity and start to live, love, and work in a manner that enables us to work with our inner harmony, with the harmony of the people around us, and the harmony of this beautiful planet that birthed everything that we enjoy and endure in this incarnation. So I maybe it was in 2020 I came across the work of Ebony Janice. If you don't know of her, her mind is so brilliant. She's an academic, she's an educator, she's a space holder, she's a lover, based in America. I think she's from New Orleans, and she talks about liberation work and dreaming yourself free and reimagining. And I really do believe that my work is liberation work, liberating us to be the human beings we're supposed to be, as opposed to the human doings. So in a nutshell, that's what I do.
Wow.
And I'm really grateful that I get to do it.
Gems from the jump.
I mean, I literally, I'm like, can we actually, we just need to capture all of that again. We need to, like, Tamu, when we do the speaker event, just that, exactly that all needs to come, and it will come with you because it's within you. But that was everything you said there spoke to truth so much in the most accurate and
also
specific way.
The confronting aspect as well, because the bypassing to get to the joy is very real. And I do find when I read your posts, actually, I'm like, whoa, like it checks me and it makes me check myself. And I love that about your work as well. It makes me check myself so that I can get rid of some of those obstacles on the way to where I'm going and on the way to how I want to feel.
Yeah.
And live my life. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
And a lot of what you just said, actually, we've been talking about this week, but in so many different conversations. So the idea of needing to unlearn, to strip down, to pull back, to then see what's there in order to then rebuild, and then to actually be able to expand and transform and effectively come back to who we truly are, right? Move closer to our essence, find our wild. We were just talking about this yesterday, and everything we're saying is it's exactly that. You know, it's like all these layers of noise and societal conditioning and tensions and trauma and experiences, all of these things kind of come in and interweave into our beings. And then it's like, actually, as you said, then psychologically, we're in this place where we don't even realize that we've restricted ourselves. We've become trapped in so many ways, and it's undoing all of that, unlearning all of that.
We have to be fair to ourselves, though. I say very often, our nervous system reflects the system in which we live. The system has been designed for us to be so tame that we're timid. The system in which we live grasps onto one form of power over, so that we feel powerless within this system, and we're dominated and we're coerced. And if you think about anything, whenever we talk about progress, whenever we talk about doing the things we need to do, we often use language like discipline, consistency, very Victorian authoritarian words. And you will know when you are in the habit of doing something, when something is part of your rhythm, it's part of the way you dance through life. When you are passionate and committed to something, discipline and consistency doesn't come into it. You just get on and do it because it's part of the rhythm, you know, it's part of your song. And this power over narrative really squishes and squeezes us. So we'll talk about obstacles that are in our way. We'll talk about being in our own way, when the truth is the system is designed for us not to have enough space. So we have no choice but to be in our own way. We have no choice but to be bumping up against obstacles. And a lot of those obstacles are denying us our organic intelligence. They're denying us what makes us human beings. It's denying us our needs. It denies us our need for rest. It denies us our need for like real education. It denies us our need for pleasure. It denies us our need to just be in the nothingness, in that liminal space, and not be doing anything. Whenever we do those things, we're lazy, we're precious, we're too sensitive. There are all of these very negative puritanical things that are put upon us to make us feel that the way we human is inadequate. And it's not inadequate. Like, the way you human is the way you human. We often talk about running out of time, being too slow. But according to who? According to what? An oak tree doesn't grow at the same pace as a daisy, nor should it. But we want to hold ourselves to these really arbitrary, very middle class white male standards. Like, that's the only way we can human, and everything else is inherently wrong. So then we walk around with this sense that we're bad, we're wrong, we're not enough. What's the standard? No one knows. It's a moving target. We never ever get there. So we're just running. Why are you running? We don't know.
Exactly. But everyone's running, so I'm running.
Everyone's running, so I'm running.
Right? Yeah.
The way we human, and the way we human is all different.
Yeah. And you know what? It really makes me think of a moment I had today. I was working, doing some work for somebody else today, as in not my personal work and not our work. And I was reflecting on the amount of time it takes me to work because of the way I work. And like more and more and more, I'm becoming more comfortable with the fact that, okay, like most tasks or most pieces of work or whatever I'm creating or working on take me longer. And they take me longer because that's just how my brain works. That's how I like to process things. It's how I like to create things. It's how I like it's just, you know, for me, it might take me twice as long as person X. And for ages, I was like, oh my gosh, why does everything take me so long? You know, my boss is going to think I'm not working hard enough. They're going to think I'm faffing about because that person can get it done in half the time. Or they're going to be like, oh, you still haven't worked through that list, or, you know, why haven't you? And actually today I was like, because this is how you work, and this is just uniquely how you work on things, and it's okay. You know, you're doing it and you're going to complete it, and you're going to complete it in your time, in your way. And actually, the way you work is also a benefit, you know, versus the way that somebody else works. For me, it's a benefit because it means that I'm very drawn to detail, and I like to really get into the detail of what I'm doing, and that's just very natural for me. And you know, I have to remind myself that is a positive as well. It's not always a why aren't you being quick enough, why aren't you being resourceful enough. And you know, just that analogy of an ocean, you know, not growing at the same rate as a daisy, and it shouldn't anyway. You know, their DNAs are completely different, their purposes are completely different, their stories are completely different. Yes.
There needs to be a bit of harmony, because there are some time scales we need to work to, but it's also about taking that time to get to know you so that you begin to understand your rhythms, because all of us, you know, another thing I say often is life is Nessun Dorma. If you think about Luciano Pavarotti's Nessun Dorma, it starts with really slow dulcet tones, then it rises a bit, then it drops a bit, then it rises a bit, then it drops, then it's got that massive crescendo. That's how we are. And there are times when we will speed through things like lightning, and we'll be like, what happened? Well, that's where we were at that time. And we can't always work to that rhythm. So something I suggest is start working out what are the conditions? What's the environment? What are the conditions? What are the things going on around you that enable you to work quicker? We're women. We are women of menstruating age, so it could well be that it was the lead up to ovulation time, when we tend to be faster, more outward facing, and we can get things done a lot more quickly. There may be times like leading to and during your period where we tend to be a bit more laser focused and we can be more analytical. So it's really important for us to get in tune with our rhythm, the rhythm of how we work. I'm slow until I'm fast. Then I'm like lightning. So it all really, really depends. And if I'm really, really passionate about something, that is when toxic productivity can creep in, and I can end up really, really overdoing it and laboring. And I know, because then my toes start curling and I start to get really, really excited. And I feel like I'm living like up here. I'm living upwards. I can't feel my feet. I don't feel connected to the ground. I can barely feel what I'm sitting on. And sometimes that serves me really well. So there are times I let it run, but it's about not making that become a lifestyle. So it's finding that harmony in between the two, so that you can pace yourself, so that you can have a bit more longevity, because otherwise we're doing boom and bust cycle, and then we're trying to force ourselves when we're in burnout, when we literally are killing ourselves, you know, to try and be productive.
How do you catch yourself, you know, when like you're not grounded in what, you know, you're not grounded,
like when you're in that flow state?
In flow state, because that point before you go over the edge to burnout, like is there any kind of signs that you have that like stop you from going over the edge, if that makes sense?
Yeah, if I can't feel my feet on the ground, if my feet are on the ground and I can't feel my feet on the ground, and when I get that like toe curlingly, like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting, like a roller coaster kind of exciting. It's not, and I don't like roller coasters. So it's not a kind of in flow. It's more like I'm at 100%, even extending beyond, which I used to live at. But I have to get dangerously close before I realize I'm there, because it is so exciting. But that's okay, because if I don't get there, then how am I going to bring myself back down? And as I said, there are times when it is advantageous. It's about it's about that not becoming my normal. So there are lots of people I work with, and they believe that is their normal. So they will say things like, I need to be under pressure for me to be able to work well, or I do much better when I leave things to the last minute. That's a habit that you've created, and you're probably addicted to adrenaline, cortisol, and what the other one is, beginning with N, those stress hormones to get you going. So you don't trust that you can be in flow. And I can't remember where I saw it. I wish I saved it, but there was a study done. It might have been by Penn State University, where Martin Seligman is based, and he's like one of the forefathers of positive psychology. There were some studies done, and it showed that you are working at your optimal capacity in that flow state when you're working to about 80% of your physical and mental capacity. That optimal is working at 100% or 110, but we always need that little buffer. And our culture, capitalism, toxic productivity, and all of that will have us believing that if we're not at 100% all the time, then we're not using our time wisely, we're not being efficient, and all those other things, when actually that sweet spot is to not be at the top. I've got this is what I use to represent a nervous system. Your nervous system is supposed to do this, but we think we're flexing when it's like that. But when it's like that, one more thing happens, this is going to snap, which is why we're always teetering around burnout, and we've got so many stress disorders.
I was going to ask, like, you were saying that your work is liberation work. How do you, it sounds not heavy, but it sounds like really important work. How do you balance the weight of that and with living, if that makes sense?
Well, I don't work full time, so I'm not doing this like 35 hours a week or whatever. If you were to ask me, like, I don't know how many hours a week I work, but I work less than 20 hours a week. So on Monday, I have a very slow Monday. I ease myself into Monday. Friday is a CEO day. I spend a lot of time sitting in my pink contemplation chair. I go for walks. I listen to music. South African house is blasting. I burn my frankincense. I take that very, very seriously, and I don't have appointments on a Friday. I take my time. I don't start work before 10 o'clock. So I take my daughter to school. Sometimes I'm ready when I'm taking her to school. Sometimes I come home and get myself ready. I have a cooked breakfast. I eat my breakfast slowly. I give myself that really intentional time. And people may say things like, oh, well, it's all right for you. Actually, I made it okay for me. I didn't just, oh, this is what I do. This has been a process. Layla, you know me. You were in my membership group when it first started in 2019, and I shared a story on my Instagram page in January 2020, before we knew what time it was with this pandemic. I thought I want to operate this business the way I want it to be, rather than within what I have at the moment. And that didn't mean I was getting loans and I was living to the top of my limit. But I thought, within what I can do, I'm going to show up for the business I want to create, as opposed to limit myself to the limitations I had. And at that time, I was still working part-time, doing independent social work. And I always wanted to have an in-person event where, as part of the membership package, we go for a meal and stuff like that. And I remember, thinking to myself, if I have an emergency, I don't know what I'm going to do, because I'm spending money that really me and my daughter could do with having in case anything happens. And I thought, nothing's going to happen. I've got a family. I want to be able to do this. It wasn't like I was really stressed and dysregulated out of my body. I was mindful of it. And that's what I did. That was just in 2020. My business started to make money that I could live from towards the end of 2020. I started the business in 2018. So it hasn't been a walk in the park. I'm somebody who has always had entrepreneurial spirit. I remember my auntie Aminata coming to visit us when I was 5, and she was a businesswoman. She was a woman who lived in Sierra Leone, and unlike many women in Sierra Leone, she was traveling all over the world doing business. She used to do a lot of work for the UN. She used to live, while she was here, in a really fancy flat in Baker Street, and I just knew it was really fancy. And I wanted to be a businesswoman like my auntie Aminata. So it's always been something I've wanted to do. So my money has always been going in different ways, because I've always been trying to do something. So trust and believe I've had the times where I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm in the supermarket. I can't remember if I've got enough money to pay for the shopping. I've been through all of that. So I'm not making it, I'm not coming from a place of handed to me privilege. I'm coming from a place of having, even when it's been shakeable, I've still got this core belief in myself that I will always be more than okay. So when I'm saying to you here, I look after myself by having a slow Monday, I do what I'm doing on Friday, it has taken lots of time, lots of steps, lots of investment for me to get to that place where this is how my nervous system is, this is who I am, this is how I operate. So I'm going to make sure I put things in place and put myself in a position where I can earn more than what I was earning as a full-time social worker, working 20 hours it is a week, listening to piano or whatever it is that I want to do, and doing and going to the gym if I feel like it, and still providing a beautiful service to the people I work with. Still having time set aside to educate myself and look after myself. I have a therapist. I've been having weekly therapy since, I think it's coming up 2 years. And I've said to my therapist, I ain't going nowhere, so don't think that's going to stop. I have supervision. I now work out on a regular basis. I fell off the wagon in 2021, but I'm back. So I do all sorts of things to take care of myself. I moisturize myself like how I used to moisturize my daughter when she was a baby. I take care of this.
Moisturizing yourself.
Yeah.
So like it's
not every time we've got to be slapping it on, you know. Sometimes I'm like, oh, thank you, shoulders. Shoulder blades. I know that you need a little bit more time. I moisturize my hands slowly.
I love how time is not a luxury, and time is a gift that you seem to really treasure, and I love
time
that.
is how we live. Time is a conduit for our energy. I can't play. Don't get me wrong, there are times I play fast and loose, but I cannot ordinarily play fast and loose with time, because time is me. We are the element of time. So if I cannot give myself an extra 2 minutes to take time and moisturize my skin and have that contact where I actually feel myself, what am I? And also I'd be out of integrity. This is what I teach. This is what I preach. This is what I talk about.
You've spoken about love letters.
Integrity is a very big value of mine, and I'm not going to be running around. Well, I don't really talk about soft life. My sister is like a quintessential millennial, and she talks about soft life, but for me it's about slow living. Like I want to feel life. I want to. Something happened the other day, and I was telling my friend about it, and she was like, oh, I'm really sorry you have to feel this way. And I was like, I'm not. Like, I'm supposed to feel sad. There are times I'm supposed to feel bereft. That's not the be all and end all, because that also tells me alive the same way joy tells me I'm alive. I'm not going to start chopping off bits because they feel uncomfortable, because discomfort is part of my life. I don't live there. I might dwell there.
And you can't have one without the other, right? They're binaries. It's like we cannot experience joy and really know what that feels like. We don't feel sadness, or we don't feel pain ever.
It's a beautiful spectrum.
Tell us a bit about your trip to Ghana, if you don't mind. Like, how was it?
We read something about this almost like a revelation that you had through your time there, and really
a revelation, a revolution, a regeneration, a reimagination, like a reincarnation, rebirth. So I kept joking about feeling like I was the Flintstones car. And I thought, you're joking about this too much. And I was inside Netflix. I wasn't just consuming Netflix, I was inside Netflix. And usually TV, I can take it or leave it. I didn't have a TV for ages. And then I thought, no, something's going on. My sister lives in Ghana, and I wanted to go away. And I was thinking I can just hold on till the summer holiday. I thought, why am I holding on? I feel like the Flintstones car now. And I was looking for places to go that were hot. I didn't want to be wearing a cardigan. And I thought, well, West Africa, this is the hottest time of the year. So I just thought, my sister's there, I'm going to go. Found a nice Airbnb. Me, my mum and my daughter went. And
Oh, beautiful. 2 generations. Oh.
Yeah. And you know, my daughter's been traveling. Like, I took her to Sierra Leone so many times as a small child. She knows Africa. She misses Africa. She just kept talking about the smell of Africa. And when you get off the plane, that
heat,
that damp heat, that tropical
that hits you. You know you're there. Like, it just immerses you. You're like, yeah.
And that immersion for me, it's like my magnet, like I plug in when it doesn't matter. It could be Gambia, Sierra Leone, it could be Ghana, because West Africa, we've got so many commonalities. And I just needed to be somewhere where I could feel at one with the land, and I could feel the land kind of pulsating through me, which I definitely feel on African soil. I needed that heat. I needed that sunshine. I needed that kind of heat that takes your breath away. I needed the patter, patter, patter of lizards, the cockerels. I needed Africa. I needed the shouting in the street, everything, the hustle, because I just knew that would help bring me back to my nature, bring me back to myself. So that was all beautiful. And then we took a trip to Cape Coast Castle. And as much as I am a feelings person, I'm also a very cerebral, cognitive person. I can be like right here, not even like be just right up there, like in the very top. And I went to Cape Coast Castle, and I had such a visceral experience. I started to feel ill as we started to walk towards the castle. And I thought, well, it can't be the travel, because I didn't feel sick all the car journey. We had sat down, we had eaten, I was hydrated. It was hot, but still, it was as we were approaching the castle. And then as we entered, I started to feel even more ill. And as I was reading the information in the museum, I really started to feel very nauseous, but I tried to like override it because I wanted to be part of the tour. I wanted to hear about it. And as the tour guide took us into the male dungeon and started talking about the conditions, like, it's not even a joke. I wanted to vomit. I wanted to shit myself, excuse me. I wanted to do everything all at one time, and I felt nauseous. And as he was talking, I thought, oh, that was the experience of my ancestors. That's what they experienced in this place. And I literally felt like I feel very connected to my ancestors, particularly my paternal grandmother and other people as well. I'm not sure who they are. And it just felt like the ancestors were saying to me, you are not going to think your way through this. You're not going to bypass with intelligence. We want you to feel what we felt, because this isn't for you. My freedom is their freedom. My living is their living. And I was there in the middle of launching a coaching program called Emancipate Your Business. I could not have made it up. And I just came away from there with a really, really strong, like I was given a duty, a responsibility in the most beautiful way. The words that were coming up for me when I was journaling were words like valiant, were words like majesty, things about beauty, opulence, words I don't use all the time were coming up for me. And I kept visualizing Grace Jones. I was like, what is it with Grace Jones? And I felt she's a free spirit. She was who she was, unquestionably. I don't even think she even thought about apologetic to be unapologetic. She just embodied herself. And I felt like my ancestors, our ancestors known and unknown, were saying that I have the opportunity to emancipate them with my own emancipation. And I thought, you know what? I understand the assignment. It is an honor. It is a pleasure. It is a divine gift for me to do this. And I just decided, like, it was just like gut, heart, brain, gadung. This is what I'm doing now. That's what I'm doing. How long it will last, I don't know, but that is my work. Is liberating myself. It's being a role model for other people. It's doing work that helps people liberate themselves so that we can start to be human beings as opposed to human doings. I really want to create a space where we start to really get to become bosom buddies with a level of vulnerability that says things like, Layla, the way you're looking at me right now is really connecting with my heart, and I can feel my heart opening, and trust that Layla's not going to feel like, oh my gosh, that's too much. That Layla will understand that I am speaking from my heart. For us to be able to advocate for ourselves, to be on our own side, and know that that mean we're trampling over other people. It means we're opening up ourselves to really connect with other people and show people how they can love us by the way we love ourselves, and in turn they can show us how we can love them by the way they love themselves. Not people pleasing, not making yourself convenient, actually putting your whole ass out there for us to see and for it to be cherished. Like that. That is the assignment I've been given, and I just, I don't feel excited up there. I feel excited, like in the soles of my feet, to the privilege of being able to do this, especially as a dark-skinned Black African woman with full whatever hair it is I've got. I feel like it's an honor and privilege for me to be able to be a bastion. I know we're going over time, but you know, us Black women, we love inspiration, motivation. That's intensity addiction. Let us love compassion. Let us love being gentle. Let us love being slow. Let us love love.
Yeah.
Period.
I've got to say, like, you have been like a personal role model of mine from when I, like, all that time ago, since I thought, can I join the membership group? And it's so important to have you or women like you as an example of you know, what we can be, and just as a guide and as a mirror as well. And I appreciate that about you. Like,
I, you know, that there's part of me that wants to be like, oh no, that's not me, but there's the bigger part that is like, it absolutely is, and I know it is, and it's a real return on the investment, whatever it is, to hear that from people I know who are in the work.
Your work matters, and it hits, and you're my big sister in my head, kind of, but secretly, but not secretly.
Not secretly, Layla. You know, you're here, man. You know it. You know it. Yeah, that feels good. Thank you.
I always say, like, when Tamu speaks,
I know already. Gems. I'm like, I'm gonna be watching this back. Like, it's our talk by heart. And to be fair, actually, we do watch not all of them back, some of them back, because we pull bits out. But already I'm like, I need to
with a pen and paper.
Watch this back with a pen and paper, but not because I'm like, I must do my homework, but because my heart needs it. Do you know what I mean? Because there's so much truth in this, and you've spoken so much truth, and I really feel like, as Layla said, you're in a space where you're really leading by example. You're leading by example by living the way you live your life. And I feel like it's, like you said, it's been a process to get there. It's a process. It's not something you just wake up and you're there. So, you know, with those of us who are doing the work, those of us who are aware, who are expanding our consciousness, who are wanting to live as human beings and not human doings, it's really intrinsic and important that we slow down and we take time to reflect and tune into those things, and ask ourselves, like, how am I living? What am I doing? You know, where can I change this? Where can I change that, to actually just honor the way I want to live more and honor myself? Like you said, less people pleasing, and basically moving from a place where we're honoring ourselves.
Absolutely.
Gosh, Tamu, how can people, like, what are you up to at the moment?
Yeah, what's coming up?
Oh gosh, so ordinarily I would have said Instagram, but I very dramatically had enough of myself and just decided this app. I haven't deleted my profile, I just came off Instagram.
So we're in that space, I think, at the moment. Sorry to interrupt. I think there's going to be quite a lot of people are in that space at the moment where they're actually just either stepping away from it, or they're contemplating stepping away from it. Feels like we're in a moment of kind of being on the precipice of an Instagram, like, exodus.
Yeah, like there are some people who are like, oh, the algorithm and this. I'm never bothered about that because I always know whoever's supposed to read my stuff reads my stuff. But the truth is, I'm writing a book and it feels so big. It feels so big. Like I haven't got a book deal or anything like that. Like that is coming. But it felt like, I don't have any doubts about that. But every time I was supposed to write, I would give myself the instant gratification of quickly writing a post, putting on Instagram, getting a few likes. And I just thought, no, actually, my gift is in the longer form, more immersive writing. And for whatever reason, I am scared of it, which means I really need to do it. So I just needed to come away from there so that I could channel and focus my energy and just like cleanse my spirit so I can be an open conduit for what wants to work its way through me. So where I'm focusing at the moment is my writing and my newsletter. Well, my newsletter, but my longer form, this is what I'm thinking about, is on my Substack, which, to give you the link for it, I can't even remember. But if you go to my website, live360.com, and sign up for my newsletter, I always add the link to my Substack to my newsletter. My newsletter is a marketing channel, so I use it to talk about my offerings, whereas the Substack, it will be the place that I just talk about what's on my heart, what I'm contemplating. So my Substack is called Making Peace with Boredom and Getting the Reps In. So it's about all the things I notice in the boredom and the repetition of life, things that we take for granted, things that really tell us we're divine, but we're too busy getting from A to B, so we don't see it. So yeah, come to my newsletter is the moral of that story. And from my newsletter, you will be able to stick around for whatever it is you want to be around for.
You get a taste of what's going to come in the book, basically.
Yeah.
Be following you straight to the book, of course, as well. And encourage everyone who's watching to follow Tamu from her Substack to her book, because I mean, you just got a tiny...
Can you see sisterhood, people? Can you see sisterhood? Thank you, Emma. Yeah.
You got to say what you see. When it's real, it's real, right?
Gosh.
And last but not least, because this is a really important one for us, what tune or tunes are you listening to at the moment that just get you like, because we're going to add it. We've got playlists, 4 playlists, one for ritual, one for movement, one for nourishment, one for rest. And wherever it falls, you stick it on the playlist, and that playlist keeps growing with every guest.
Right. Okay. So one of the jams that I was playing it a lot in Ghana, Techno Enjoy, because allow me to enjoy myself, please. Everybody have some enjoyment. And there's no enjoyment like West African enjoyment, so please have some West African enjoyment. And another song, something that really I've been playing on YouTube a lot, because I don't know what India Irie's playing at. I See the God in You, India Irie, like that really speaks to my soul. And then we need a little bit of Nena Cherry is doing some work where she's like remixing and collaborating with people with I believe it's with tracks from her Raw Like Sushi album, and I loved Nena Cherry. I love that Raw Like Sushi album, and there's a song on the album called Kisses on the Wind, so that's a little bit of a jump up track. So yeah, there you go, you've got 3.
Thank you so much. We will check them all out. Listening, they're going on the playlist.
Good.
Like, so you're so precious, and we're so grateful for you sharing yourself with us.
I need to record this and play it to myself when I'm playing around with writing. Thank you.
We're going to send you. We'll send you the video. We'll send you the audio. You have it all for yourself.
Thank you.
It's really been our honor and pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And sit with us and bless us with your knowledge and your light, and we appreciate you. And
thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.